everybody, it's MicheleMarieDalene. It's the 22nd of November. Yes, it is Thanksgiving week, and yes, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Cumberland Farms will be giving away free coffees tomorrow, so you can get one for free from Cumberland Farms here in Winsted, and probably other participating Cumberland Farms in your area. Now, we want to talk about Thanksgiving. And maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the Thanksgivings of the past, the good ones, and some of the not so good ones. Okay, well, this year, let's start with this year. This year is going to be a very boring Thanksgiving because my family and I have not talked in a while. Some of you know the reasons that happens to a lot of families. It's not just mine. But the biggest issue right now is that some of my friends wanted to come on Thanksgiving, but there was no mass transit running on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So, in other words, they would have to stay all the way here until Monday. I'm talking about Ed. Now, my landlord doesn't even really want Ed in here. So, Ed didn't want to really push his luck during Thanksgiving. And so he's having his own Thanksgiving, maybe along with a couple of his friends as well. And so there will be a lot of blank time for Thanksgiving here because there's nothing really to cover. I had some very fun times in the past for Thanksgiving, but I'll be honest, my most favorite holiday of all is Christmas. But Thanksgiving used to be when I was a kid, when our family was a lot smaller. We used to get together, usually more locally, just my grandparents, my mother and father, and my brother and sister. We would go to family Thanksgiving dinners. And of course, as the family grew and people moved to different places, Thanksgiving became more of a time to be by yourself, and a lot of us use it as a time for contemplation on various things. So in that case, Thanksgiving is still time for Thanksgiving. Originally, it was a Massachusetts holiday and tribute to the Native Americans that helped the British English settlers come into Massachusetts area and landed on Plymouth Rock. Unfortunately enough, as we know, the Department of Indian Affairs has unfortunately made things a lot harder in the 1840s during the times of the Great Westward Expansion. They really treated the Indians really, really bad after that, and they're still hurting today. The people on Indian reservations are really not doing well at all. It's a complicated mess. But, I have not heard anyone stand up and say, let's have an ILM for Indian Lives Matter or Native American Lives Matter, but there certainly should be. The Native Americans have been really given the shaft over many, many centuries of being controlled by the white person. I don't support that. In fact, if it wasn't for the Native Americans helping out the Pilgrims, we would not have been celebrating Thanksgiving at all, first of all. Second of all, the immigrants to Massachusetts, a lot of them would have died very, very quickly, as a lot of them did die from exposure to the cold. And and starvation. So yes, there really was a problem with that, the way we treated the Native Americans. And so for all the Native Americans, I personally want to salute you and give you thanks for the fact is that you helped um, give a lot of us assistance when we needed it when we first came here to this country. When we were born and raised in America, we don't tend to think of that, but if it wasn't for Squanto and his tribe of the Native Americans up there in Massachusetts, the the Pilgrims never have made it because they didn't have the proper training to make it on their own. After all, they came from Europe. So Europe was already settled. I mean, they had the resources. They had all the stuff. You could go into a grocery. You could buy your food. You could buy, all the supplies you need. But out here in the wilderness, at the time it was wilderness, you had to basically live on the shirt on your back. And if you screw up, there's no medical evacuation procedure to get you out of there. There's no 911, there's no police, there's no fire. It's just is, as it sounds like, a reality kicks in that, yeah, if you didn't have the training and didn't have the help of the Native American tribes, the Pilgrims would have been quite literally dead. They would have died off. But it's sad we talk about the Indians, especially during the time of Thanksgiving, and we always seem to forget that after that we treated the Native Americans with such disregard, especially the Apache and the Sioux and the Cherokee and the other tribes in the West. And I really kind of wish we didn't do that, but you know what? I don't have to repeat the mistakes of my ancestors. I don't have to do the same baloney. And I always have respected everybody. And that brings us to another reason I want to give thanks for giving. Because a lot of people don't realize how important this channel is for some people, besides me. A lot of people that come to this channel look for a little piece of tranquility, even if it's just a small piece. I will just tell you right now is if you want the tranquility, the live streams are not for you because they're rowdy, they're loud, it's like going into a large ballroom, although it looks more like a WWE SmackDown, honestly. But my videos, the blogs are fairly tame, and you can always enjoy them. And it's when we do the vlogs and the bcasts that I get a chance to be a little more at ease, relaxed, and express my thoughts. And that's what I'd like to do. Now, I noticed that there's a new character on my channel now. This says Michelle's cat Rusty. For the time being, I don't really personally have a problem with the person. But they did say something that I thought was inappropriate, and I originally was going to block the whole account, and Lomi said, no, don't do that, because you just said one nasty thing. This doesn't deserve to be blocked because of one nasty thing. And the other fake Lomi is out there and starting to say all kinds of strange stuff. And Brian K would like to have a spoof. In fact, Brian K asked me if anybody would like to spoof Brian K. He said he would welcome to have a spoof. So, there you go, guys. Brian K is actually inviting you to spoof him. Okay? I don't know what he's going to do with his doppelganger, but That's not for me to say. I guess I don't know. The irony is I'm making coffee while I'm drinking coffee. Yeah, I know. That sounds stupid, doesn't it? Well, that's just me. Are we going to have a special Thanksgiving live stream? I don't know. Is there enough demand for one? Do you really think we need to have a live stream for Thanksgiving? I'm capable of doing it. But before I do it, I want to know if it's something that is a worthy goal. Is it something you want to see? Do you want to see a live stream for Thanksgiving Day? And that's, you can post your comment in the conversation below here. Of course, we are having one on Sunday at 6 p.m. Are we having an after show? I wouldn't dismiss the possibility. I know most people will not be here for Thanksgiving. I know Rhonda and Brent are going to be enjoying Thanksgiving among themselves. I know that Ed is having Thanksgiving by himself, maybe with a couple friends. I know that I have friends in the building that are having Thanksgiving by themselves. Sue is having Thanksgiving with her and her boyfriend. But me and the cats are just gonna be here eating leftovers most of the time. But on the other hand, I guess that's the way it goes. It's not meaning to be meanful or hateful or anything like that. It just is as it is. Am I buying more Marmite in December? Yes. When are we going to get our renter's rebate checks? Latest news, unfortunately, is the middle of December. Which kind of sucks because I really, really was hoping that I would get the check before then, so I could have paid off my bills and been in good standing with some of the credit card companies. And but that's not going to happen. Then I wanted to buy some Christmas clothes and things, and can't do that now. Maybe I can get something by the Feast of the Epiphany on January 6th. The other thing is, too, I'm really looking forward to seeing more positive live chats. I hope eventually we can have more positive chats, comments. A few people have came to me and said something that was very nice. One of them was that I look good in purple and red. Well, okay, it would kind of work, I guess, with my skin color. But, and then of course one of the people said, well, you got beautiful blue eyes. And I'm like, well, thank you. Most people unfortunately never get a chance to see my blue eyes because the camera, for some reason on camera, my eyes always seem like they're closed or hooded. And that's not because I'm trying to be rude or nothing. It's just, but the cataract in my right eye, it sometimes is hard, because the bright lights, and let's be honest, these lights are bright. There's 600 watts of almost 10,000 lumens light hit me in the face here. It's hard on my right eye, especially my left eye. Doesn't seem to mind it too much. At least it's not CFLs. Thank God for small favors. Very true. Left eye CFLs are very, very hurtful in my eyes, and yeah, definitely. Now, what about the would a better type of CFL be a better choice for the studio? Maybe a better color temperature? Say, not 6,500 degrees Kelvin, but say maybe 5,000 or something like that. Well, yeah, maybe. Except, unfortunately, the CFL bulbs are really, really not made as well as I'd like them to be made, and a lot of them, the glass is really thin on the bulb. Even though it's glass, it's some of the UV light is leaching through because it's thin enough that the light can get through. Plus, it takes a while for a CFL to start. It's not like they're on instantly. But you know what? I'll tell you a secret. I'm really hoping the day's going to come when we're going to see LED bulbs that are going to be much brighter and much more capable of being used in a studio situation that are not going to be ridiculously expensive. I know that they have LEDs lighting now for studio work, but unfortunately, the individual fixtures are a bit expensive. But I'm not dismissing the possibility for the future, because I want to talk about something I wanted to do and in the near future. A couple of years ago, I mentioned that one day I'd like to consider relocating, and I also mentioned that during the summer. And one of the things I would like to do is live off grid, and Connecticut is it's really difficult to do that because this nanny state has regulated itself into a hole in the ground, literally. And the electric rates next month in January are going to be going up some more. And isn't that an irony is that after Donald Trump has made it easier for coal companies to mine coal and sell it to the utility companies, that all of a sudden the Department of Public Utility Control is going to increase our electric rates again. Now, I think that's kind of sad because it's something that we take for granted that we don't normally think about when we plug in a mains plug into a socket on the wall, just exactly how much it is actually costing us and energy consumption and paying for the bill each month. And so, yeah. So I said to the church that I have been wanting to consider a living off grid, and I'm looking for a dry and a dark cabin in Maine, where I can live the way I want to live, off grid, and I'm not no fool when it comes to some of this stuff. What I mean by that is that I know that with people with multiple handicaps, that only adds to a lot of layers of hardship on their lives. There's no doubt in my mind just what I'm getting involved with. But the sad truth is as it is right now, I'm not doing any better. I mean, if I can get a place for $300 a month or cheaper, and the only expenses is I gotta pay for the kerosene for my lights, and of course deal with a composting toilet or an outhouse, and have to pump water by hand and cook on wood. Hey, I'm okay. I don't mind. That's all right. I'll do with it. But if I have to pay $700 plus a month, and then play on top of that ridiculously high electric rate, and on top of that, um, that adds a lot of cost. Um, so I'm thankful that I got a place right now to live with 3 squares. But I really kind of want something a little more of a challenge. Um, I just my it's kind of like that commercial for Frosty Weeds a couple years ago when the guy was eating tofu crunch and he puts down the bowl. He says, "You know what? I want taste. I want flavor. I want more than just eating the same old stuff." And I absolutely agree with that person in the commercial. Of course, this is so Frosty Weeds, but the whole point is the real. If you want to do something different, and you do understand what you're going to get into, it's going to be adding a lot of layers of additional hardships on your lives. But you feel it is something that you got to do because of your spiritual. You want to be a free spirit. As long as you understand what you're getting into, as long as you research it, I would say, if you still think it's a good idea, try it. Does that mean it's going to hurt my production of videos here on YouTube? If we did do that, it would change a lot of things. Because we would be running on a very limited energy supply. It's not like we are now where we act as if it's unlimited electricity. Where we can go ahead and run the computers and these lights and these mixers and microphones and cameras. And if you have, say, a 1200 watt inverter and, say, a couple very large capacity deep cycle batteries, and the only guy say about 100 watt solar array, well, that's way too small, but I'll use this example anyway. If you're only doing a video maybe once a day for like 30 minutes a day, then maybe that 100 watt solar panel could just about make up for what you're not, that you're consuming. But honestly, you would probably want more like a 200, 300, 400 watt plus system. But the whole point is you would have more money available to you to do more important things, like making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you're eating right, making sure that you have good, proper clothes to wear. That is important. That's not going to change. That's just the way it is. Okay? And that's the truth. Besides, who doesn't dream of home ownership? Who doesn't dream of living the New Hampshire motto, live free or die? Who doesn't dream of those things? I think a lot of people do. I know I do. And I think that majority of the people on my YouTube channel do too. But I'm going to say one thing. We need to keep the Native Americans in mind. Thanksgiving. Of all the things about black lives, white lives, all lives matter, all this stuff, that's great. But what about the Native Americans? The ones who came out of, then gave the Pilgrims the helping hand that they needed to survive. After the Pilgrims realized, after the first winter in Plymouth, that they were truly, truly ill-prepared. And look at all the stuff that we do to Indian affairs today. And the despicable way we treat them now. I say to my Indian brothers and sisters, I think it's time you speak up. I think it's time you speak of the injustice. It's time to have a Native American lives matter. A NALM. At least you can, as a sound to it. It's not just a bunch of all consonants. Native American lives do matter. Native Americans are the backbone of this country. Native Americans are the ones that a lot of people forget were here first. And I personally thank you for the fact is that you helped my ancestors. And you were there for the people of Plymouth Rock. And you were there to give suggestions and advice. And all the Native American people I know today personally that are still there are rooting for this channel and hope that this channel will become more than another Sally Jesse Raphael or another Martin Downey Jr. show or another Oprah Winfrey show with channel, which I really don't want, but well, it seems to be that's what's happened. So many divisions, and yet we don't even realize that we all have a common theme. And that is that no matter which minority you are, you don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel that no one else cares. There are people that do. And there are people that want to see your minority be successful. Likewise, I want to talk about thankfulness. Let's be thankful for the fact that next year Social Security will be getting a 2% increase in benefits. Okay, it's not huge, but it's going to be a step in the right direction. But it would be nice if the day will come when more jobs will be made available for the handicapped. There's a lot of misunderstanding about the handicap. Incidentally, there's also a lot of misunderstanding about the white population who are poor. There is no doubt in my mind that we all hear about the black ghettos, but I have never heard too many people talk about what's going on with the white communities that are poor too. We're just as hurt, we're just as poor, and we're just as fucked. It's the truth. If you're poor and you're white and disabled, you are just as fucked as the blacks are. And everybody sits there saying, oh, you guys have white privilege. Really? You think it's a privilege? I don't think it's a privilege. I don't see it as a privilege. I see myself, the fact is I got the same thing every other skin color has. Red blood flows through my body. It doesn't matter what my skin color is. And that's the one thing I've been trying to explain on my channel for a long time. If you're poor, regardless of race, and you live in the urban environment, or even if you live in the country, you are still basically fucked. It's not fun. I was hoping, like I said, with the renters rebate to get clothes and things like that. But now even that has to be changed because of somebody's bureaucratical decisions in Hartford, Connecticut state legislature. And it's going to cause a lot of pain for a lot of the poor and disabled, regardless of your skin tone. I want to get out of the urban plantation. I want to get the hell out of here. And I really seriously want to see more, do more in my life. Something positive that could provide me with a good, healthy air to breathe. An ability to get some exercise. And the ability to be making things happen by my own efforts. This YouTube channel is part of my work. It's not the only thing I do, even though you may think it is. I am active in the community. I'm a social person. I have a lot going on. But this channel here is only an adjunct of what I do. It's not the only thing I do. So let's keep that in mind, guys, because it's true. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. you're not the only ones that are hurting. But if we don't make an effort to change things, it's not going to change. No matter how much you say otherwise. Now, any issue with Pastor Leroy Jenkins? As I explained, I did apologize to him. He accepted my apology. And that made me feel good. And I do think that there's a lot of people who didn't think I realized that I did apologize to him. There is an old teaching that you must try when you hurt somebody to make it right. And it is related to both the Torah and the New Testament. It's that important. If you cause harm to another, and you need to make it right, no matter what. And that's why I had no problem apologizing to Pastor Leroy Jenkins at all. Because that was the right thing to do. When you hurt somebody, well, sometimes it does. Some people say, oh, you should take it, you should let it cool off a bit. That's true. But then again, at the same time, sometimes you'll forget to forgive. You forget to apologize because you're so wrapped up in the other things. And then you don't know if that person may be seriously asking themselves, why didn't she apologize? So instead of risking the risk of forgetting, I just contacted my email and said, I'm sorry. I apologize. And you should do the same thing. Sometimes it's easier to just say, forget about it. But if you really truly do feel that you've done it wrong, you need to make it right. Regardless of who it is or what had happened. You need to make it right. Alright, so for now, I want to thank you guys for watching this bcast, and this is a bcast. And I hope that you will, I'm not going to really edit this down much. I'm just going to pretty much just put on the title, the trailer, and the intro. And just pretty much put it up as it is. If I might edit some things if necessary, but I usually like to let people see how things are raw. Or if there's things that are just too long, I'll just edit them out and make it easier. For example, there's a few pieces in this video I probably will edit out because they don't flow well. So if you're interested to seeing a live stream for Thanksgiving Day, let me know in the comment section and we'll see what we can do. But for now, thanks for watching these guys. Bye-bye.